Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Guys, how are you? Heather? Yeah.
All right, come join me this way, please. All right, well, thanks for joining us today on our podcast, In the Hawk's Nest. I'm your host, Christopher Kowalski, principal here at Bishop Hartley High School. And today we're both doing both an audio and a video recording with our special guests, Jim and Heather McKay. I also have our director of athletics, Mike Rahe, joining us today for our conversation. So thanks to everyone for joining me here today. Well, Jim and Heather, you're obviously familiar faces on campus, and you've, served in a variety of kind of official and informal roles, throughout our time together. So would you share with the guests a little bit about just what your affiliation with the Hartley family is as a whole? And I always like to start off our conversations with two, and share with us kind of a favorite or maybe impactful memory of your time here at Hartley.
Well, mine have definitely been unofficial roles while I've been here, helping out with auction and drama, things like that. My favorite memories probably are those involving Delaney, our daughter's shows. The music department has a sweet spot for both of us. I'm sorry.
Well, what was a favorite show or production
Shrek.
that you can remember?
Shrek.
Yeah.
I really loved the Seussical too. Anyone who saw it probably remembers she was the one who had some very loud screams that killed eardrums. But I loved watching her in Shrek. It really showcased her dancing, her singing, her acting, and those are all three things she wants to pursue. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Jim, what about you?
I'm the track and cross country coach here at Hartley for 7 years now. So that's my official role. Probably, I would have to agree with Heather that that's my favorite moment of Shrek, watching my daughter perform in Shrek. Professionally, winning the first CCL boys track title in 30 years last year was a big one. Cross country, the girls have gone to regional 6 years in a row, which is a streak that's never been seen in the school history. So those are probably my proudest professional moments.
No, I love that.
But watching my daughter develop into, what she is today has been my favorite.
Yeah. No, I love Shrek too because I believe it was Henry, if I'm not mistaken, that played Shrek. And I think Henry was green for almost a month when all was said and done. Tried to take the makeup off, and in the end wasn't quite working.
Delaney's 5'11", and Henry's like 5'8".
Yeah.
So they had to give him a extra size, what do you call those things? Risers and
like
a shoe.
lifts or something.
Lifts and a shoe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that was good stuff. Well, the main reason why Jim and Heather are joining us today is that they are the proud recipients of the 2026 Leaders Legacy Award. So this award is given to individuals who have made Hartley stronger through their generous sharing of time, talent, and treasure. So as we just mentioned, Jim, you've served a lot in the world of athletics and, kind of in general. And then Heather, you've given a lot of professional oversight to not only the drama program, but many of our fundraising efforts as well. And I just kind of chuckled to myself because you said, well, you didn't really have an official role. But I don't know, you were as official to me, especially when the pandemic kind of rolled through and we really had to rethink about everything that we were doing for such, the critical event that is our Evening of Excellence. And I feel during those days you were here just as much as the rest of us, and so I'm always indebted to you for that. But, being parents, being professionals, you obviously have such a busy kind of careers, both personally and professionally. So can you share with me a little, adulting and life lesson, if you will, but how do you find the time to give so much in all those areas?
It's definitely not easy. There's a lot of late nights working and making up for the day, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And, we're just really fortunate to have a business that gives us lots of flexibility. It's been great ever since the kids were born because they would kind of come to work. We would just, leave when we needed to, and then you make up the work after they're sleeping. And it just kind of continued on through all the years and allowed us to be places during the day in non-traditional times where others couldn't be. So the job has given us lots of flexibility.
Wonderful.
So really grateful for that.
Well, you're talking a little bit about your family. Tell us a little bit about just, I don't know, kind of maybe how the two of you met and what then eventually got you to settle into Columbus, and then why Bishop Hartley?
Well, we met in a bar in Seattle.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to describe, she decided to go on an adventure from Ohio.
Yeah.
And decided to just move to Seattle for the heck of it. And I don't know how long it was after she moved there, but I think maybe 3 months
Not even.
that we met, yeah. So,
Yeah, so I had moved out to Seattle kind of on a whim. A friend asked me if I wanted to move out west. We did a little research and said, sure. My friend didn't end up moving. It was just me in the end.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I went to San Diego to visit an old college roommate, flew up to Seattle, got a rental car, and just drove around for a couple days, checking it out. I was poor. I wasn't going to get back a lot to check out apartments. It was
Sure,
going to be
sure.
sight unseen. And I just asked people, knowing what you know, where would you settle down, whatever. And so moved out there, met probably within a month and a half.
okay.
And we were together ever since. So after a while, it's so beautiful out there, but
Sure.
it's so busy and expensive. And finally, I decided that I wanted to come back and be near a family. I was not going to be able to see them enough times in the trajectory of life, given when parents get older and things like that. And so I said, I hope you'll come with me. And so he did, begrudgingly, but here we are.
We had the same business then, so I was able to move.
Okay,
easily.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Settled in the east side of town, eventually moved into Gahanna, and then, it became Hartley because when it was time to go through the process of selecting high schools, they were at St. Matthew, it was clear, it was just like a light switch went on when we came to those open houses, both for Jacob, for Delaney, and I know for me, I was like so glad that that's what they chose because that was my choice for them. But I always wanted to give them
Absolutely.
the ability
yes.
to decide.
Sure, right.
So it just it just felt like home right from the beginning. I don't know what it was. I mean, it's the people, the community for sure, but there's something intangible about it that you can't even explain.
Yeah.
It's just like that it factor that exists, and it's here.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So,
Thank you for saying that about
yeah.
our school. I agree. A lot of our seniors who are about 3 short months away from walking across that stage and getting out of here, and we talk about that a lot, about that it factor. You can't really describe it. You
Yeah.
can't really, put a number on it, if you will, but once you're at a place, it just kind of sometimes speaks to your heart and lets you know if this is potentially where God's calling you in that regard. So
Sure does, and it
yeah.
did, yeah.
No, that's beautiful. So as we talk kind of about the time and the giving, are there any kind of role models maybe for the two of you that were either individuals or kind of a couple that ingrained that spirit of being kind of a servant leader, I guess you could say, because it's one thing to talk about the need to serve our neighbor and to do, but it's another to actually be that living witness, that you are. And I think about that as a parent, as a coach, as a leader here, as a teacher. Any role models that stick out to you?
I mean, for me, for sure, it's my parents. They've always been big into volunteering, helping, just, again, unofficial and official capacities. But absolutely, that was instilled in me through them. And so I hope that our kids also will reflect that in their lives once
yeah.
they get through, finding out where they're going to land and have time to do that. I hope they continue that legacy. But, I just also feel like, what parent doesn't want to get involved in their kids' communities,
Sure,
activities, things like that. And so, it just naturally felt like the thing to do. Again, we had the time. And I kind of feel like because we have that flexibility, there's just an additional responsibility to kind of do what we can, because not everybody can do that. I mean,
Yeah.
some people can only, show up for an open house at night
Absolutely,
or something like
right,
that.
right.
And they can't be there during
Yeah.
the day when at least a lot of the things that we've been involved with have been.
Open up that
So,
flexibility of time. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so-
And I think sometimes it's difficult out there too, just based off of what your schedules are. You can think, oh my gosh, I can't give, or I can't, but there are so many different ways
Yeah.
that you can be engaged within the community. So All right, that's great. I'm going to pass this over to Mike Rahe, our Director of Athletics, who's going to be able to talk with Jim here a little bit about his talent in the coaching and athletic world.
Yeah, Jim was one of my first hires when I took over as athletic director here, and got to say it's been one of my best.
Thank you.
So I appreciate everything you've done. You jumped in right away and spent a lot of time in my office asking about where are the records. And I know that you have researched state, local, Hartley, everything to get our record boards up to date, and I think that was a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Walking in. What I really want to ask you though is, from a facility standpoint, when you got here, our facilities were okay. I think they've gotten a lot better since
Yes.
you've been here.
In particular, in the track world, they have. I think when I got here, the track needed replacement.
Yeah.
And Mike jumped on that, and we got a beautiful track. I mean, I'm very proud of our track. It's very fast, beautiful looking track. Put a brand new long jump runway in, which was really neat. It was on the turf before, and we got a lot of complaints.
I remember
about it
that.
being on turf. So, yeah, those two things combined have been phenomenal. The weight training, the weight facility, having Derek Harris come in, and we just have top-notch professional strength training now. And that's made a huge difference, in particular with injuries.
Right.
We get so few injuries compared to other teams because of that. So
Yeah, it's been a great addition. If you have a cross country or a track athlete that you can think about that sticks with you, maybe not the best, but work ethic wise, can you talk about them a little bit?
Yes. So there are two, if you don't mind.
Sure.
First one, Ace Hoylman, came into cross country not as, let's just say he put up the slowest time in the history of the program the first time he ran. And it's funny because I remember I was so concerned about him finishing in time so they get the next race off that I walked beside him the entire race and just kept encouraging him to continue to run.
Right.
He started off at 46 minutes for 5K, finished his career at 27 minutes for 5K.
That's great.
Just an unbelievable transformation. And so we're very proud of that in the program. It's a record that'll never be broken, probably. Amount of minutes taken off in your career.
Right.
Yeah. The other one is Andrew Bassetti. Andrew had a profound impact on me personally. You won't find a better human being than Andrew. He was always a varsity athlete, but he wasn't a star. But he was always the hardest worker. Never missed a run. Always encouraged his teammates. Always did everything correct. And now he's in the Air Force Academy, living his best life.
Right.
And this is a kid who would fly an airplane during the weekend when he's 18 years old.
Getting his private
Yeah,
license.
just
right.
driving around by himself, flying around, I should say, by himself. So I thought that was really cool to have that kind of guts and determination.
Yeah, and the commitment to
Yeah, exactly.
do everything he can.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, looking at the athletic lens and now kind of jumping back over here, Heather, take an idea kind of the drama program and maybe the auction as the two main areas that I feel like you've probably impacted the most, through your service. What's been the evolution of those two programs from kind of the time that you started to where they are now? As I still see you at not only the auction, but also the shows too, that you're a frequent flyer of attendance even after Delaney's moved on.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't feel like I did a whole lot, maybe in small ways for the music program. There weren't as many big things to do, but, I tried to help where I could. But I think it was a frustration to those of us who were kind of in that community with our kids, that sometimes it felt like it was maybe just forgotten a little bit, I guess. And so, giving feedback over the years, we've definitely talked about trying to elevate that program in terms of making it more visible to others, either in the way that the students are acknowledged or the way it's advertised or whatnot. But I feel like, now it's got a real vision, and certainly with the capital campaign that's hopefully going to start and the plans to, really do something special for that department
Absolutely.
with the space are going to be huge. And it just really shows a big commitment by the school. And I think that is going to attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
So obviously, Mrs. KC is a great addition. I mean, I loved the people who were here before, who we were with. But I think having her at school during the day, too, and combining that with the after-school activities brings it into one focused vision.
Yeah.
So I really see that taking off in a profound way.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the auction, when Jacob was in kindergarten at St. Matt's, a friend had asked me to get involved with the auction the next year, taking the job nobody wanted, which was
No one ever wants that.
the system. And so stupidly, I was like, sure. And it just kind of became this thing that I did for, I took a year or two off, I think, in Delaney's 7th or 8th. I did have a little bit of auction fatigue at that point.
Sure.
But, so then after a year or two, someone reached out and asked about doing it here. And I was just, I don't know, it was almost like a competition with myself. We saw what the main event was doing in terms of dollars coming in, and kind of looked at it comparing it to Hartley, and I was like, this could be so much more. And so, a couple of my friends joined in, and we were just really motivated to see what could be done to kind of take this to the next level. And so when we came in as volunteers, I mean, the staff was great, allowing us to kind of maybe do some things differently.
Sure, just run with some new ideas.
Yeah, and so it was nice to kind of see it really going down some new avenues. And I think with the addition of some more staff here, so it can be this really robust focus. It's just such a fine group of people. Not that they weren't fine before, but dedicated to that. And seeing bigger numbers motivates everyone, and you keep wanting bigger numbers.
Absolutely.
Because then you can keep doing more for the school, and in the way of scholarships and bringing more talent. And so it's been a real joy to kind of watch that
Yeah.
evolve, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, and I think a theme that both of you just shared, a little Saint Mother Teresa here, of just the phrase of, doing small acts with great love. Sometimes just taking the tickets or selling the candy at the show, you don't think is necessarily this huge thing, but if no one's there to do it, it doesn't get done, and that throws off the operations of things, right? Or even, as you said, kind of walk in with Ace and, thinking here, you have that spectrum sometimes of athletes and what we're trying to do, which is always win state titles, but what a lot of folks don't see, which I am so proud of with, I see it, Mike, for what you do in your volleyball program, and Jim and yours, are those small acts of making sure that whether you are the top runner or the starting, kind of position, whatever the case may be in all our sports, that everyone in those programs is taken care of and loved and valued and given the opportunity to improve, to grow, to mature, and just see everything through. And I think that's one of the things that's always, stood out to me of the beauty of our campus community in particular. So, and then kind of this third element of wanting to honor you really has to do mainly with that Leaders Legacy Award, is the opportunity to give back, right? And I love to use the word of just kind of of partnership, of investment. It's one thing to donate, whether it's your time, talent, or treasure, but it's another to kind of the word, just to accompany one another, right? In trying to support our mission. So you have been so generous in so many areas here, but with our Evening of Excellence in particular, why have you felt over the years that it's been important to support the endeavors that we put up for that night, which for many up to this point have been a lot about tuition assistance and scholarships, and shifting our focus to continue with tuition assistance and scholarships, but also just it supports really our annual fund, the general just kind of lifeblood of our school that helps us with everything from teachers to facilities to programs and extracurriculars. So why has it been so important to you all to support that event?
I think it gives a gift of a Hartley education. who's somebody who might not have gotten it. Which I always tell the kids if they ever think about transferring, like, you got the golden ticket here. You know, why would you want to transfer somewhere else? You have the best. And then I just only run into that a couple of times with athletes
Yeah,
who
sure,
think that they're
sure.
going to do something
Sure.
better somewhere else. But you're giving a gift to somebody who may not have been able to achieve it on their own.
And it's the main fundraiser for the school, so, you know, it's how the revenue is coming in to make the difference in those scholarships, or, you know, I don't know if at some point it's going to feed into different veins, and if it's always just scholarship, or if it's, you know, some other efforts as well.
Right,
but
right.
but that's where it's mostly coming from, and so I think all of us, again, it kind of comes back to responsibility. It's like, if you're able to do it, if you've got the means to do it, the time to support, whether it's volunteering or just attending that evening, just feel like, you know, we all bear a little bit of responsibility in making the school as good as it can.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we want that for our kids?
Absolutely. No,
So-
I think
That's
we both share that, you know, when you're fortunate in life and you've gotten lucky and you've been able to achieve things, that you need to share that, and that's something we both believe
Yeah.
profoundly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. Well, and Heather, I know you got a little background in Catholic schools from when you were growing up, you know, as well. So you both understand as parents, as students, you know, the value of what a Catholic education can bring. I mean, you just said, Jim, like the golden ticket, you know, if you will. So what has kept the flame lit for you to continue to give back to Catholic schools, even though your kids have now, you know, kind of graduated and moved on to that next phase of their life?
I mean, I guess it doesn't stop being important just because your kids are gone,
love that.
right? So, and beyond our kids, I mean, we did have two nieces and a nephew who went here too. So, you know, there was a little bit of lag time
Yeah, sure,
with
sure.
them. And so, you know, you always want to keep supporting. But I don't know, there's such a sense of pride in being part of the Hartley family too, that you just want to keep seeing it do well, and the kids who come here do well. And so, I mean, to the extent that we're able, I feel like this is always going to be some place that we keep on helping.
That's
But
beautiful.
yeah,
Well, and I think that speaks to just our faith in general too, right? You know, that it's not just about our experience or what came before us, but that importance of, you know, sharing Christ's love and the impact that he can continue to have for the generations to, you know, to come in that regard. So that's beautiful. I also love just the phrase of like being proud to be a member of this family. You know, I can't say that enough as someone who also didn't grow up here and was kind of a transplant to the community and to the Hartley family. And now I can't imagine my life without it. So I feel that pride without a doubt. So, well, I can't thank the three of you enough for joining me. I want to remember and remind our listeners here that our Evening of Excellence, where we get to celebrate these two beautiful people as our winners of the Leaders Legacy Award and to celebrate our beautiful school, will take place on April 11th. So just a few short months away, if you can believe it. You can head to our website right now. You can consider joining us as a sponsor to maybe donate some items, or to then purchase your tickets, as it's always a beautiful and fun evening. So Jim, Heather, Mike, I can't thank you enough for joining me here, and I hope that everyone gets a chance to join us on April 11th to celebrate at our Evening of Excellence. So thank you all very much.
Welcome.